Previously on Marvel's Midnight Suns.
I don't know what to say.
Then don't say anything, because I don't want to talk about it.
This ominous-looking portal is known as a blood gate.
What do you think? You don't think this whole Bruce Wanda thing is fair either, right?
Fair? What do you mean, Nico?
Oh, come on. You see the double standard too. I know you do. All they care about is losing Bruce. It's as if Wanda never existed. Now we all have to sit around and cuddle Stark through his grief. Who was there for us when Wanda was taken, huh? Where was our Kleenex and freaking group therapy?
The Avengers, Caretaker. They do not care about Wanda and never will.
I know, right?
You were right in believing that they will only take care of their own. Perhaps it is time to do the same.
What do you mean?
You want them to save Wanda, but maybe it is you who should save her.
That's not a bad idea. I can already see this pissing off Caretaker, which is even more of a reason for me trying. You know, I bet if they had a shot at saving their precious Banner Boy, they wouldn't hesitate. How long has Wanda been gone? We've waited long enough for someone to take action. And action is just what I might take.
Mind if I join you?
Please do. Whoa. I just realized we're nearly the same age. It's kind of blowing my mind.
Why?
In my head, you're ancient. No offense. But you've actually lived fewer years than I have. So, are you one of the kids? Or the second oldest adult? I don't know how to treat you.
The same way you have been treating me is fine.
No additional effort required. I can absolutely do that. Especially here. I don't remember the last time I was this relaxed.
How are you, Carol?
Better than Tony. Poor guy. I hate seeing him beat himself up over Banner. I mean, every option was some Faustian flavor of crap. Would you have been able to take the shot? Because I don't think I could have.
I do not know what I would have done if put in Tony's unfortunate position.
Yeah, that makes two of us. It's so easy to criticize someone's decisions from afar with, I would have done this or I would have done that, self-righteous crap. Truth is, none of us can ever honestly say what we would do in a situation until we're in it.
Agreed.
It's refreshing to talk to someone around here who doesn't pretend to have all the answers for a change. Well, I should really check in on Tony at some point today. See you around.
Hunter, I see the battle at the Avengers Tower has left you relatively unscathed.
Relatively, but Lilith has done far more damage than even we imagined.
Yes, I've heard about what happened with Dr. Banner. Lilith is flexing her power in more ways than one. If we weren't the target of her ire, I might have said I was impressed by her growing resourcefulness.
She has already proven to be just as powerful as ever.
I think our new friends have finally come to realize that. Lilith is not to be trifled with.
At least it was not a fatal lesson.
You can be sure that Lilith is only going to get more dangerous the longer this goes on. And while we may be forced to wait for her next move, you can still continue your work on the grounds.
You think it will help?
The more you come to understand about your mother, the better prepared you'll be when it comes time to face her again. And if you happen to gain a blessing or two from the old gods in the process, I'm sure it can't hurt.
I will keep looking for more of Wanda's notes and other materials.
Let me know if you need my help, dear.
Ready to head to the Emo Kids meeting?
Lead the way.
Nico runs these meetings?
Yes, so far.
Then I'll wait for her to begin.
We shall soon see if this meeting amounts to anything.
What do you mean?
Miss Minoru can explain.
Feels like we're getting closer to figuring out how you died. It's not too much, is it?
The memories are painful, but I have endured worse.
That's good! I mean, it's bad, but yeah, I'm glad you're hanging in there. Ileana wants to lead the ritual this time. That surprised me.
Why?
Magic taking the lead and Caretaker staying out of her way? The world must be ending. Oh, right. It is.
I believe I know Ileana's plans for the ritual.
How?
I overheard her speaking with Strange.
I appreciate you telling me.
Telling you this time, you mean? That's fair. Perhaps I've kept you in the dark more often than I should. Ileana's approach is reckless and could cause you lasting harm. What you do with that knowledge is up to you.
Are you prepared for Miss Rasputin to apply the metaphorical cheese grater to your soul?
Ileana's all-or-nothing approach does concern me.
As well it should. Raw power is always her answer. For this ritual, we need precision. I'm certain you'll be fine. If all goes wrong, I shall pick up the pieces, as always.
The ritual today will be unlike before.
How so?
We shall make real progress. I refuse to coddle you as the others did. I will push you beyond your limits. For this to work, I must break you.
According to Sarah, this could do me lasting harm.
Sarah thinks she knows everything. Without preparation, she would be correct. This is why you collected the ingredients I asked you to bring. You did collect them, yes?
Well, no.
This complicates matters. Without ingredients, the ritual will be painful. No more than sparring in the yard. There is no danger to you or your soul. But it will sting. Now, are you ready?
You may proceed.
Limbo never forgets. It holds the echo of your death. What is your last memory?
Lilith. A muddy circle in a clearing.
Then I shall bring that echo to you. Now, you become its vessel.
I am ready.
What do you see?
My head. It is her. It is Lilith in the circle.
Do not fight the echo. Allow it to wash through you.
No, she sees me. I advance, prepared to strike. She just watches me.
Whoa! Is that...
It is.
My child. Look what they've done to you.
You have no right to call me child, monster.
So misguided. I have never sought to harm you.
Your army says otherwise.
A distraction to allow for this moment.
Ileana, stop this! Right now!
Enough deceit. Speak plainly or suffer the consequences.
Ileana!
No! We must proceed!
How plain can I make this, my child? If I am to remake this world, I need you at my side.
Enough! Dilungo! Retinacula!
No! You had no right to do that.
Stopping your recklessness is my obligation.
Pah! Stopping the ritual early could have destroyed the Hunter's mind.
The only threat to Hunter was your sloppy technique.
You are impossible!
You will never attempt this again.
Do not constrain me.
Just gonna stand here and hope they don't involve me.
Yup. Miss Rasputin was correct. Feels odd on the tongue, like a fish-flavored loofah.
You approve of her approach?
Of course not. But she was right to push. No matter what Sarah thinks, today was a breakthrough.
How you doing, Hunter?
We would have had the answer if Caretaker had not stopped us.
I'm not taking sides, but it looked like you were in actual pain. I get why she wanted Ileana to stop. As long as you're okay, I'm okay. The good news? We are definitely closing in. That's more than enough for today. You ready to leave?
That is it for me.
Sounds good. See you next meeting.
You are welcome to attend Ileana's surprise party.
As much as I would enjoy that, my presence unsettles those incapable of perceiving me. I'll celebrate from afar.
So you will be there in spirit?
Oh, Hunter, how I've missed your wit. The second Bloodgate. I should warn you, Hunter. You may find the trial ahead more difficult than I originally let on. The gods will push you harder, and you might very well fail.
And if I do?
You dust yourself off and you get back in there. Or you train, rethink your approach, and come back later, when you feel ready.
And what if I am hurt? Or worse still, what if something happened to Charlie?
Neither of you will be harmed, dear. That's not what this is about. The Elder Gods want to see what you're made of, but they're not out to get you. Well, except Chthon, but you already knew that.
Then I should make an attempt while I am here.
I'm sure you'll be fine. Just enjoy yourself. You're the only one getting an opportunity like this.
I will do my best.
Oh, and Hunter? I should mention, you'll only be able to make one attempt at the trials per night. Even the old gods grow weary of their children eventually. Good luck. When many of the elder gods were corrupted and became what we would call demons, the god Atum, born from Gaia herself, was set upon our world to slay these monsters. In that sense, the two of you have had a shared purpose. Fight well, Hunter, and he may just honor you with his blessing. If that doesn't make an impression on Autumn, I don't know what will. Good work, Hunter.
This looks like a clone.
With Atum's help, you shouldn't have any trouble uncovering the more elusive elements hidden throughout the grounds. Why don't you try out his blessing on that stone over there?
This area, it feels wrong somehow. I sense an old suffering.
Members of the local coven were persecuted here. And worse.
Witches.
Salem's history with witches may have been distorted over the years, but some things are true. The witches of Salem did their best to thwart Shaw, but he rallied his congregation against them. The catalyst of the infamous Salem witch trials. When the Coven called out in distress, it was Lilith and Sarah who came to their aid.
They came all the way from Transia with the Abbey to help a group they had never met?
You may not believe it, but I'm sure you would have done the same. Isn't that why the Sons are here today? Aside from that, your mother and Sarah both saw the signs of Chthon's influence. They knew there was more happening in Salem than the persecution of witches.
Chthon's corruption had taken root in the New World just like the colonists themselves.
And while Lilith and Sarah were still preoccupied in Transia, they entrusted one of the Moon Seals to the Knights of Wundagore, who brought it to the Coven with the hope that its power would reinforce them enough to deal with Shaw.
But that is not what happened.
Unfortunately, no. When the plague came to Salem, the same one that afflicted your father, Shaw used it to further agitate his flock by placing the blame squarely on the Coven.
And the witches?
The mob was vicious. And the rest is history.
But what about the Moon Seal?
After the trials, the Moon Seal vanished along with Shaw. Without drawing any conclusions, I think we can both guess where it went.
If this was his church, then it is possible the seal is still here, or somewhere nearby.
You read my mind. Good hunting, dear.
Was this always here? I may have forgotten a few things, but I feel as if I would remember a decrepit church on the grounds.
You may not remember the structure, but maybe you've heard of the man responsible for it? Hiram Shaw? This was his house of worship, and like a great many things on the grounds, Sarah preferred to keep it in a sort of mystic quarantine. Even I haven't been inside.
Is that all she did while I slept? Seal things off for our protection?
She can be overzealous at times, but in this case, she was right to be wary.
So, what dark secret does this place hold?
When Hiram Shaw first came to Salem, he was little more than a charlatan posing as a preacher. He managed to convince a few desperate souls to join his congregation, and with their help, he broke ground on this church. Whether it was coincidence or fate, in digging beneath the church, Shaw found something that would change the course of all of our lives. A long-forgotten page of the Darkhold.
If Shaw found a page of the Darkhold, it was because Chthon wanted it that way.
I tend to agree. That cursed book is always seeking out a way to return its master to power.
And a power-hungry preacher makes for the ideal messenger of darkness.
Yes, Shaw was an eager study, consumed almost immediately by the whisperings of Chthon and the Darkhold's power. Nearly overnight, the people of Salem, old and new, were at his threshold, waiting for the word.
Tell me about Hiram Shaw.
By all accounts, Hiram Shaw was a desperate man. Desperate for power, wealth, influence, the usual desires that cloud men's minds. As I understand it, he was a largely unsuccessful minister before his arrival at Salem, traveling from place to place, swindling whatever followers he managed to gain before being run out of town. To think that a simple man like Shaw finding a piece of the Darkhold was enough to set all of this in motion, it puts things in perspective.
What do you know about my father?
That's not an easy question, dear. What would you like to know? Was he a good man? Yes, I think he was. Your mother loved him dearly, and he doted over her. I think for a time she forgot who she was, where she came from. And I don't mean that as a bad thing. She and Sarah both deserve to find something more than just another fight with Chthon. Lilith did. Sarah didn't. At least, not for a while longer still. I honestly think that's the only thing she ever had against him, blood or not.
This ward is not like anything I have seen on the grounds before.
And yet, it's familiar somehow.
Like the wards of protection that Wanda invoked to protect Dr. Strange's sanctum?
Very perceptive, dear. Maybe you should approach the good doctor and see if he has any insights. And Hunter, be circumspect. Dr. Strange is no fool.
Did Wanda ever make it to this place?
I suspect she did. But if she discovered something, she didn't tell me.
Ah, Hunter, I was just admiring the collection. Someone spent a great deal of time piecing this library together. I hope you don't mind me, having a look around.
Of course not, Doctor. The library is an asset to us all.
I see I'm not the only one who's taken an interest in these works. You haven't been getting into anything precarious, I hope?
I've found something on the Abbey grounds that I think you should see.
Oh, sounds mysterious. By all means, lead the way. You were right to bring this to my attention, Hunter.
We thought it resembled one of your wards of protection.
There's a reason for that. It's the same magic Wanda invoked in her attempts to protect the sanctum. But what is it that you're chasing out here? These wards aren't something to toy with.
I will not know for sure until I get past this. Is there any way to dispel it?
Unfortunately, no. What good would the wards of protection be if they were so easily broken? But I have been wrong before, at least recently. Do you have any suspicions as to who may have conjured this here?
Wanda spent a great deal of time out here, and she had the power.
She does have some experience with these spells, but why would she do that?
The only way I will know for sure is to find a way through to the other side.
I'll think on it and see if I can come up with some way to assist you, Hunter. For now, though, you'll have to be patient.
I have heard that Wanda's power comes from Chthon.
The way I understand it, as a child, Wanda and her family lived in Transia, not far from Mount Wundagore. Within that mountain, the dark god Chthon had long been imprisoned, his corruptive influence an ongoing threat to the people of Transia.
And Wanda was affected?
Whether Chthon reached out to Wanda, or he found her by chance, I can't say. But Wanda was blessed or cursed by Chthon, touched by the power of chaos magic. While he had hoped to make her some sort of acolyte, she proved to be more capable than even he foresaw.
What can you tell me about Chthon?
One of the first Elder Gods, Chthon is said to have existed for tens of millions of years, well before the dawn of humanity on Earth. Believe it or not, he wasn't always the bastion of evil that we know today.
This story sounds familiar.
As the legend goes, the downfall of the old gods was actually brought upon by Chthon's brother Set, who found that by consuming his siblings, he could gain their power. After Set consumed Hypus, Chthon followed suit with the others, and in this way, many of the first gods also became the first demons.
And how did he come to be imprisoned on Earth?
In the same way Hydra has worked to restore Lilith, various cultists of the past sought to revive Chthon to wield his power. When Chthon failed to cooperate, these same cultists did the only thing they could. They locked him away again.
What do you know about Transia?
Transia is your ancestral homeland, Hunter. The birthplace of Lilith and Caretaker. It has always been a sort of magical junction, drawing in every type of occultist, sorcerer, and even the occasional Elder God. The Abbey grounds still behave in much the same way, even after all this time.
And Wundagore?
Wundagore Mountain has always played a prominent role in whatever scheme was underway. Chthon himself is said to have created the Darkhold, deep within the caverns of the mountain.
What was Caretaker like when she was younger?
I'm sure it's difficult to remember now, but Sarah wasn't always the steadfast contrarian. In our younger days, she was much more enthusiastic about dashing off to save the day, not unlike some of our younger allies among the Suns.
That does not sound like the Caretaker we know and love.
Keep in mind, Hunter, Sarah has faced a great deal of loss in her time here. Everyone she ever cared about, in fact. I would say she's earned the right to be disagreeable, at the very least. She is a very strong woman. I'm not sure I would have held up as well given the same circumstances.
Who were the Knights of Wundagore?
Another mysterious group of heroes in a world full of mysterious groups. Of course, I'm no expert on... I do know that the Knights of Wundagore were formed as a response to the growing threat of Chthon's influence near the mountain.
What exactly did they do?
Hydra was hardly the first to dabble in chthonic schemes. Many have tried and failed to awaken the Dark God. Over the centuries, the Knights fought alongside a number of allies who stood against the various crazed worshippers of Chthon.
You were there? At the witch trials?
Not initially, no. If I had been, I like to think I could have stopped them, before it was too late. I sensed something was wrong, and when the witches cried out in distress, I came to Salem as quickly as I could.
But Shah had already committed his crimes against them?
Yes. It was a devastating discovery. And for the longest time, I blamed myself.
But you see now it was not your fault.
I've come to understand that we must accept the past and move on. But that doesn't mean I won't always carry that pain with me.
I know that feeling all too well.
I know. And I wish you didn't, dear. I really do.
In the next episode.
It's too much. I will cut the cake.
Fun game. Ask anyone. Who survives?